You ever see someone so obsessed with order that they practically turn their own life into a sitcom? Let me tell you about the night karma didn't just knock on someone's door. It kicked it right off the hinges. I swear, I still smile every time I remember the way this played out. So, there I was, thinking a simple garage party would be the most excitement I'd have all year. My wife Lena and I had only moved into Sunrise Gardens 6 months earlier, and honestly, the toughest part at first was just figuring out which of these cookie-cutter houses was ours. But nope, the real test of patience was surviving Karen Mitchell, the HOA president. You know the type. A clipboard warrior who truly believes her title gives her the same authority as a federal judge. It started small. First, she cited my patrol car for aesthetic disharmony. It was my grass being 1/10 of an inch too long. One day, it was trash cans a few inches from the curb. The next, it was my holiday lights not fitting the community vibe. By the third month, her pettiness had turned personal. My decorations? Suddenly an eyesore. She claimed my football game barbecues on Sundays disturbed the tranquility. After a while, it didn't matter what I did. She'd find something. I could see the pattern. She was trying to grind me down until I gave up and left. But not tonight. After half a year and a dozen complaints, all of which the HOA board tossed out as nonsense, I finally decided I'm not backing down. And it wasn't just me. I'd started noticing more neighbors waving in support, more people grumbling about her in private, then not so private. Karen saw it too, and you could almost feel her control slipping away. So what did she do? Double down, of course. The power plays got bolder, more desperate. That night, I decided to host something special, a garage gathering with my buddy from law enforcement. Off duty, sure, but these are the guys you want with you when things go sideways. Tom and Chris from detectives, Jerry from traffic, Dave from SWAT, Mike from patrol, Steve from narcotics, Rick from K9, Paul from Sergeant Division. The kind of crew where every handshake comes with a mutual respect you only earn together. Now, here's where things start getting funny, if you like the kind of humor that comes with a side of disaster. See, these guys, even when they're relaxing, move with a kind of quiet alertness. Parking backed in, keeping an eye on exits, radios in their cars, the whole deal. If Karen ever paid attention to what real professionals look like, she'd have seen it too. But instead, she just saw trouble. Sure enough, I look out the window, and there she is, camped at her living room window, phone camera up, notebook open, a little stack of violation forms like it's her badge and gun. She's snapping pictures of each arrival, screen lighting up her face in the dark like a beacon. I swear, it was like watching a kid play secret agent. If that kid was an adult who decided the fate of the neighborhood rested on stopping one garage party. But Karen wasn't satisfied with just her own little spy game. By now, some neighbors had picked sides. Mrs. Peterson waved at us from her porch, cheering us on. The Hendersons, though, were glued to their phones, probably messaging Karen tactical advice on HOA regulation loopholes. Honestly, I'd had enough. Tonight was the line in the sand. No more tiptoeing around. If Karen wanted a showdown, she was going to get one, and not the way she expected. My friends got settled. Jokes flew, the grill smoked, laughter spilled out into the night. But Karen, she wasn't laughing. I caught her outside on her porch, pacing and talking in her phone, pointing at my garage, gesturing wildly. That wasn't her usual play. She was planning something. Part of me wanted to just ignore it, but you know when you feel the storm brewing? That was it. The air was thick with it, like the neighborhood was holding its breath. Inside, you could hear the old radio codes slip into conversation, a little professional lingo here and there. Tom scanning the driveway. Steve talking about wrapping up a case. All routine for us, but to Karen, it must have looked like a scene out of a crime drama. And she was determined to be the star. Pretty soon, she'd moved from spy mode to full-on evidence gathering. She worked her angles, front window, porch, behind her mailbox for a closer look. It went from nosy neighbor to surveillance enthusiast in under an hour. She was building her case, sure her moment was coming. And then, Like every overzealous HOA president who's read one too many true crime novels, she took her fight to social media. Mrs. Peterson swung by and showed me Karen's posts. Suspicious gathering at 1247 Maple Street. Multiple unknown males. Possible illegal activity. Comments started flying, people watching from their living rooms, the thread blowing up in real time. This wasn't just a neighborhood spat anymore. It was a public spectacle. Right on cue, Karen marched up my driveway, voice raised, clipboard out. This gathering violates HOA safety and noise ordinances, she declared, as if she'd just caught us mid-bank heist. I took a deep breath and explained, nice as I could. This is private property, Karen. Unless you've got a warrant, you're not inspecting anything. Her eyes flashed. Now she was spitting out code numbers and city statutes, acting like she'd memorized the whole municipal code just to catch me slipping. My buddies just watched, calm, quiet, a few smirks here and there. They'd seen this dance before. Tom leaned over, whispered, "Wait for it." Dave just shook his head. They were ready if she went too far, but we all knew. Let her play it out. Karen, feeling the power slip, pulled out her last card. She grabbed her phone and, with a dramatic flourish, announced to everyone in earshot, "I'm calling the police." A few neighbors clapped. Some groaned. Me? I almost laughed out loud. You know that moment in every good story when you realize someone's about to make the mistake of their life. This was it. She punched in 911, hit speaker, and waited for her moment of glory. The dispatcher's voice came on. 911, what's your emergency? And Karen launched in. Illegal gathering, multiple unknown men's safety concerns, possible illegal activity. She was escalating so fast, you'd think she was pitching a script for a Netflix special. But she didn't stop. Level after level. Noise complaint, suspicious behavior, possible drugs, personal threats. You could see the neighbors start to doubt. You could hear the disbelief in the crowd. She was spinning a story that sounded nothing like reality. Tom nudged me. Bet you she says we're organized crime next. I almost lost it right there. Meanwhile, Karen started live streaming her own heroic stand against the criminals next door. She coached her followers, rallied neighbors, and braced herself for her big victory. But there was one thing Karen didn't know. Our address fell just on the county line, so the responding officers wouldn't know any of us. She wouldn't get a favor. No one would handle this for her. The sirens finally echoed down the street. Karen stood at the curb, proud as ever, ready to watch me get what I deserved. Deputies stepped out, looked around, and did exactly what good officers do. Sized up the situation, no assumptions. Karen pounced. "Thank you for coming, officers. I've documented everything. Photos, videos, social media posts. The perpetrators are in the garage right now." She dumped it all on them, like she was presenting the case of her life. Deputy Morgan nodded, asked his questions, took her statements. All by the book. Then he made his way to the garage. He stepped in, saw 8 guys, a couple coolers, a folding table, the grill. Looked like every weekend in every suburb across America. Except he caught a detail, an Academy patch on an equipment bag. Then another, radio chargers in the cars, tactical gear stashed with a cop's precision. His face changed. He knew. "Excuse me, gentlemen, are any of you in law enforcement?" he asked, keeping it neutral. Tom was the first to break. He pulled out his badge. "Detective Reynolds, County Major Crimes." Then Jerry. "Officer Williams, Traffic." One by one, SWAT, Narcotics, Patrol, K-9, City, County, State. 8 badges, 8 departments. Karen had just called the police on the police. I swear, the deputy almost laughed. "Ma'am, you called the police on the police." You said it loud enough for everyone. Karen, the neighbors, the whole block, to hear. The look on Karen's face? That's the image I'll take to my grave. Her phone slipped from her hand, clattered on the concrete, and for the first time all night, she had nothing left to say. "Entrapment," she shouted, then sputtered. "How was I supposed to know?" She scrambled, desperate, claiming we were acting suspicious, as if that justified it all. But the damage was done. Phones whipped out. Videos went up. Within hours, the story, Karen calls police on police, was trending everywhere. The internet devoured it, and her power vanished faster than her social media followers. Deputy Morgan reviewed her evidence, her own recordings now proof of false reports. He explained calmly that making up police reports is a crime, that lying to officers carries real fines, and, in her case, maybe even worse. Her supporters evaporated. Even her old HOA buddies backed away. Karen, once the queen bee, now stood completely alone. In the neighborhood, people started talking. Stories spilled out. Her complaints about Christmas lights, about kids making noise, about inappropriate garden gnomes. Folks who've been too scared to speak finally stepped up. Karen, facing public humiliation and a looming court date, tried to fight back. She posted on Facebook, tried a TV interview, but every excuse just made it worse. By the end of the month, she'd sold her house below market value, left without so much as a goodbye, and disappeared. Life around here changed. The new HOA board ditched the clipboard drama for block parties and cookouts. People waved in the mornings, lingered in conversation, let their kids play without a second thought. The fear was gone, replaced by something like real community. And me? I learned more than I expected about standing up to bullies, about how when people come together, even the most entrenched tyrant doesn't stand a chance. About how professionalism under pressure matters more than pride. About how, sometimes, justice really does get delivered in the most unexpected ways. Sometimes karma moves slow, but when it lands, it's beautiful. And if you ask me, there's no better proof than watching someone call the police on the police. Tell me, have you ever seen instant karma this sweet? Or maybe you've lived through a neighborhood showdown yourself. Drop your story below. Let's hear what you think. Where's the line between looking out for your community and just being a pain? Because if there's one thing I know now, it costs nothing to be a good neighbor, but it might cost you everything to be a Karen.